our first presenter of this half is Scott Finn, and his presentation is entitled, What We Can Learn from My Autistic Son. So Scott, welcome up.
Hey everybody. In my day job, I'm the head of Vermont Public, but I promise not to ask you to become a sustaining member. This is my son, Max. The first thing you should know about Max is that he loves to swing, from a tire swing, in a playground, in a hammock. The bigger and riskier, the better. I swear he is 5 degrees away from doing a 360. My son, Max, also loves hard physical labor. Here he is digging a garden at Mansfield High School and picking up fallen apples at Yates Orchard. He especially loves doing hard labor when he's rewarded with Yates Orchard's Dreamy, which you may know is a cider apple donut with a maple creamy on top. Yeah, I'd pick up a lot of fallen apples for that. Max loves water. He loves to jump in it. He loves to swim in it. He loves to sit in it. One of his favorite things to do in a canoe or a sailboat is just to lean over and put his hand in the water and watch it trail through. Have you ever done that? Feels pretty good. My son Max is also autistic, which means there's a variety of behaviors and different ways of seeing the world that we'll talk about. He also has apraxia, which means that he has difficulty speaking with words and he uses sort of nonverbal communication. I like this idea of neurodiversity, that we're all thinking differently. And my son's brain is really different. Here he is doing what my wife and I often call scientifically weird shit. Like putting all the paper plates out for display. He's also sensitive to loud noises, bright lights. We often lock things to keep him out of trouble. So to keep him from opening the washing machine and taking all the clothes out. Or from eating things in large quantities that are bad from him. Or to keep him from eloping, which is just wandering out of the house and going out in the woods and not coming back. So he also likes to listen to things repeatedly, like this. Kiss an angel good morning, and love her like the devil when you get back home. That was our 2022 soundtrack from Charlie Pride. We need to edit his Spotify. Did you know that autistic people are often forced to move to other states to get services? That's what we had to do when Max was 4, because health insurance companies didn't cover services for autism in West Virginia, where we lived. We told his story, and then later they changed the law. And because of Max, kids in West Virginia now can get services. We've moved several times. We moved to Florida, where this is his sister, Iris, and my wife, Wendy Radcliffe. We moved to Florida, back to West Virginia when they changed the law, and then to Vermont, where, although things are not perfect, we definitely have gotten better services for him. So this is the story about Max, his parents, and the governor of West Virginia, Governor Justice. I was running West Virginia Public Broadcasting at the time, and we reported that Governor Justice's coal companies refused to pay mine safety fines, refused to pay their vendors, and my favorite, stiffed the Boy Scouts out of $10 million. After we did that reporting, West Virginia Public Broadcasting, which was a state-run agency, was zeroed out of Governor Justice's budget. This would effectively kill public media in West Virginia. Meanwhile, Justice fired my wife, Wendy, who was the state's environmental advocate, which is an internal watchdog position. Wendy was really good at helping families who were hurt by the mining and the gas drilling industries, and that was just too much for the industry. This is us at the state capitol, just a couple of weeks after this all went down. We were attending Autism Awareness Day, where the governor met Max. And the governor, whose sister is autistic, really took a shine to Max and allowed us to have a conversation with him, not just about autism, but about public broadcasting. I made the case, and to his credit, he backed off the proposal to eliminate our funding. We moved to Vermont not much later, coincidentally, and found an amazing support system. Here is the support system for Max at Camel's Hump Middle School, a great place. And this is what Max taught me. Number one, there are a lot of giving, helpful people in the world. You just have to know where to look. Number two, don't be afraid to hug. During the days of the pandemic, when the UPS guy came up, Max would run outside, jump up and down, and hug him. This got out. A WCAX reporter ended up doing a story about this, and that story went viral. And then later, ABC Nightly News picked up that story of Max and this driver. His name's Kip. He's a wonderful guy. I hope that this story does something to demolish the stereotype that people with autism don't have deep feelings. You can't look at this and not know that Max deeply cares for Kip. The third lesson, take time to enjoy the view. Max likes a good view after a hike like any of us, but unlike his dad, he's not quite so determined to hike up the mountain at full speed to get there. He's willing to take his time. He will sit down. Sometimes he'll go halfway up a mountain and want to turn around and go back down again. One time we hiked the deepest canyon in the eastern United States, which is called the New River Gorge. We got all the way to the bottom, and that middle picture of Max is him sitting at the bottom of the gorge, refusing to go back up again. For 2 hours. It was only the promise of pizza that actually made him finally get up and go. When we first moved here, I took Max sledding, or sliding, at Casey's Hill. It was snowing lightly, it was quiet, it was cold. We walked to the top of the hill, and I wanted to go down, but Max, he just sat down. I tried to encourage him to get going. I promised him pizza, and he just stayed seated there. And then we looked across the field at this beautiful snow coming down, Mount Mansfield in the distance, this timeless view now shared only by him and me. And I sat down next to Max, and we took a moment to be in the moment and just be. Thank you.